rotation.
Upward rotation, part of the force couple. Good. If you say the same thing enough times, it's bound to be right eventually. Okay, so let's look for serratus and then we'll look for pec minor. Because both of those are going to be things that we can find with the person laying on their back. Okay? So let's have you down on your back. Now, if we think about serratus, somebody give me the origin and insertion of serratus anterior. One person.
The medial border, the scapula, on the anterior side.
Okay, that's the.
Origin.
Thanks for playing, though.
Oh, man.
That's the insertion, right? Because that's the movable part, right?
It's the
But you
lower,
were perfect.
it's the lower 8 ribs laterally.
Okay, anterolateral serves the lower 8 ribs for the stable part, for the origin. And it comes around the trunk. Remember that it wraps intimate to the trunk. Goes deep to the scapula to come on the anterior surface of the medial border as its insertion. All right? Okay, so finding this then, knowing that's where it's at. You saw how thin it was in the cadaver. We know what it does. It likes to protract. So one of the things that I do is I always have someone lay down like this because this deactivates all the trunk musculature. It makes it easier for me to try and emphasize just the serratus. Protraction can be accomplished if we have her bring her arm up like this and if she lifts her hand towards the ceiling. Just push up towards the ceiling, okay? Now, you notice there's a lot of stuff here, right? But this isn't really active because it's not its job. That's just massive muscle right there. And relax, okay?
Is that the lats?
That's teres major and latissimus.
Oh.
And, portion of the posterior deltoid. It's all back there, okay? And we're going, wow, that's just a lot of stuff. And I don't have to dig through that or whatever. But remember that these guys are out here around the scapula, right? I'm looking for the trunk. So here's what I'm going to do. If you're ticklish, this will drive you off the table. All right? But this is how we find it. I take my hand like this, and I'm going to come right in here, and I'm going to push all this muscle aside. So everything that I just talked about is now on my fingernails out here. I feel her ribs, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come right down into her armpit like this. I'm going to keep my fingers against her rib cage, okay? Then I gently want her to push up towards the ceiling. Okay, good. And relax. Now, what I felt was something just poke up into the pads of my fingers along her trunk. This is not a comfortable palpation. Nobody likes people rooting around in their armpit. That's where you find it.
Good thing I shaved mine.
Okay? If I'm out here, I'm going to get, that's just all the wrong stuff. I know from what I saw in the cadaver that I've got to be pressing against her ribs right up in here. And it just peeks out right there as she pushes up. And I feel it right there on the pads of my fingers as she pushes towards the ceiling. And I'm going to give her a little resistance. Push up, push up, push up, push up, push up. Good. And hold. And I feel it right at my fingertips right there. And relax.
She's not liking that.
No, nobody does. That is